All right, we're back again with another episode in the continuing saga of the Crazy Dad Lotus adventure. And let's see if there's anything new that we've gotten done since we talked last. I got all of this much of the brake system pieced together. I think we had figured that out at this point. So what I've come up against now is I am trying to get the rear brakes connected from this point, and it's got to go, I think, through the frame and along the frame here and through a hole there and out a hole here to something. And I know I need a brake master cylinder. I know I need a what they call a brake servo, which is one of these things right here is a brake booster, and a brake line that goes all the way front from the back to the front, which I have 3 to choose from, and this piece, which doesn't even quite fit correctly. So honestly, I'm not sure exactly what we've got going on here. As I'm looking through my manual here and trying to decipher where all these parts are. So the manual's, it's got this diagram which looks really good, but it's not exactly as detailed as I'd hoped, and there's 3 or 4 different diagrams for the different models of this Europa, and this is the one that's the closest, but it's actually for a right-hand drive car, which mine's a left-hand drive, not a European version. And so I'm trying to figure all this out. So I was digging around and going, wait a minute, I haven't even found a master cylinder in all of this mess yet. Where would it be? And I got to digging through this box here, and lo and behold, I found one right there. Okay, and obviously this is the original one that came off the car, and having sat this long, it's probably bad. So I'm going to clean it up and get it put on here, but it actually fits right here. There's 2 studs sticking out of the chassis right there, and it actually fits on those studs and slides back on there and sits right in there like that. So I'm going to clean it up, get it put in place. I'm not probably going to rebuild it yet because mostly right now I'm just trying to put the thing together and get it rollable. So I've got that. I just saw another part that is probably going to help solving my problems. There it is. Right here, this little item, if it's even appropriate for this car, which I don't know. I don't know if this is the piece that goes here. That doesn't even really make sense. But it might as I start piecing things back together. So I forgot that I had it. And then I was going through my actually, I looked up online to try to find a picture of where the brake booster mounts, because I've been out to the car body. I can't find where it mounts on the chassis. I can't find where it mounts on the car body. Anything, but I got it in the picture here. Turns out, so I Googled that to try to figure it out, and it shows that it mounts inside the front luggage compartment of the body. And I guess I just wasn't finding the right holes or anything there for it. But as I Googled that, the first post that popped up was some guy asking about his brake booster, and they said, hey, look, don't even worry about rebuilding those things. Although I have 2 of them, and I'm quite sure one of them's good, and I do have a rebuild kit over there in that box. They said, don't even worry about them. One of the most common modifications on these cars is to get rid of them because they're kind of not reliable over time, and they tend to be a leakage point and all that, and manual brakes on a car this light function just fine. So I'm like, oh, okay, now let me rethink that. So I come back here to my diagrams in my manual. I'm going, okay, if I get rid of this, that would move me out of this picture because my master cylinder doesn't even match the one that's in here. So I flip back a page, and here's one here for a left-hand drive federal system, which would be an American one, and it's a Series 2, so I think it would match mine. And here's one here for a right-hand drive Series 2, which is not the correct one and has the other style of master cylinder. Here's one here for a left-hand drive Series 1, which has the other a different style of master cylinder yet. So I'm looking back here at this one, I'm going, hey, this is the closest thing to what I've got. I think I'm just going to convert mine over to this system, which should make it easier to get all the connections done and everything. So I'm gonna have to find myself a T-valve to go in there, and then I just got to figure out how to get that line connected back to the back and get one from here to the master cylinder and one from this T to the master cylinder, which I already have that one in place. So anyway, that will help out. I also discovered that instead of having a hydraulic clutch, which is what I thought this thing had, it has a cable operated clutch. So what I'm discovering here is I got a whole bunch of extra brake parts, which that kind of narrows down the possibilities of what I'm trying to do here a lot. So I've got 3 full-length brake lines here, which means at least 2 of them are extra, and I'm going to eliminate the servos, so I don't need those. And it may be, quite frankly, that I don't need this. It might be from something completely different, because I'm not seeing it in any of the pictures. What I'm really going to need to find is another, I might not even need another T. I might have my brake line that comes from the back might come up and go directly into that master cylinder. Let's see, because the front ones are here on the master cylinder and the back ones are here. So I've got to connect from this T probably down under here into that port right there, and then this port somehow has to get from here back to my connection on the back here. And so I'm probably going to end up having to take some of these lines and bend them to get them to fit, because nothing seems to be working appropriately. But that gives me a lot more, it narrows down all my parts, and so I think I can do a better job at figuring this out. So anyway, there we go, another piece of the saga here, and one of the world's biggest jigsaw puzzles, which is kind of how this whole project is to me and part of the fun of it. So we're going to clean that master cylinder up, get it bolted in place. We're going to see about finding this little connecting line here, or making one, and let's see, we're gonna, and then see if we can get our line run back to the back, and then I'll have the brake system together. I got to put the calipers on and bolt the brackets in place and everything, but I've got all of that stuff back in here. There's my 2 calipers right there, and here's my brake pads for the front. And I've got the lines for them right here, as well as some brackets right there that I have to put into this thing. So that's kind of my project for today, is to get that together and wrapped up, so that I can get, I've got to adjust that brake drum right there. The shoes are a little tight and I can't get the drum on, so I'll adjust that so I can get it on. And then I should have my brake system together. And after that, it's putting in these long black tubes that you see right there, which are the radiator hose coolant lines that go from the back of the car to the radiator in the front. I'll do that. And then I've got these 2 black pipes back there, actually the shifter mechanism, and I've got to get it put into place. And once I've got that done, then the chassis is going to be actually quite close to being done, which seems crazy to me, but that's what it is looking like. So anyway, excited. We'll be making some progress today. and I'll show you some more pictures as we move along on the Crazy Dad Lotus. Here we go. Enjoy the fun. I hope you're learning something as we go through this.